Good night and welcome. Welcome to another episode of the All Over It podcast, coming to you live and direct. Today, March already, March 9th, 2026. Blessed day. Today, All Over It podcast, episode 45. 45, we live. Yeah. Blessings, my people. Love alone. Thank you for joining. Thank you for jumping on. Love. I appreciate you. Can't say it enough. I was a say it. Huh? Blessings. Big up yourself one time to my boy David in the chat. Yeah. As I always to tell you. Me and David certified now. Forget that. Yeah. We certified in business. Yeah. So, yeah, just know. That's what we're talking about today. Optimizing your business. Doing the right things, making the right moves. Check. So, yeah. You don't know? Tell a friend to tell a friend. Like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, all that good stuff. Let me know who they are. Leave a little comment in the chat so I could know who they are watching and all that good stuff. Yeah. Blessings and big up yourself one time. Love a lot. Last week, we talked about automation. How technology could remove those repetitive tasks, that repetitive work that is on our plate. But automation alone doesn't fix a business. You check? Good night, Carol. Blessings. Welcome. Welcome, love alone. Yeah, man. Automation itself alone don't fix the business. Some businesses automate chaos because if they're in chaos and they try to automate what they're doing, then it just enhance, it just cause more chaos. That doesn't solve the problem. So bottom line, if the system itself is broken, automating it just makes the problem happen faster, just makes it more noticeable, just more prominent. So tonight we're talking about something deeper. We're talking about business optimization. And it's a powerful thing. We're gonna dive into what it is, some core problems, and things that we could do, some strategies that most business advisors or business consultants would advise you to do if your business facing whatever bottleneck or setback you're facing. So like I said, tonight we dive in deeper into business optimization. Check. So let me do all that screen sharing business one time, two time, three time, and we up. Yeah, so we want to be up on top of the mountain like this house, right? Start with business so we could elevate ourselves. So let me elevate ourselves. So let me start here. What business optimization actually means? So let me go to this next window for this proper definition. Business optimization strategies specifically enhance organizational efficiency, meaning the way how the organization runs, how efficient, how smooth it runs, how well it flows. Productivity, meaning how productive your team, so your employees are, and profitability. So how good you're doing at making money, how good your sales going, how good you is at retaining your profits. By refining processes, leveraging technology such as AI, cloud computing, and automation, and fostering a culture of continuous improvements. Key approaches include mapping workflows to remove bottlenecks, implementing data driven decision making, and upgrading talent through training and adopting lean methodologies like Six Sigma. So I have a couple strategies here, but before I get into those, I'll go back to our first slide. Hey, Phil, blessings. Appreciate you for joining, bro. Blessings. So, like I say, business optimization is about these four things, man. Improving efficiency, so making things flow smoother, making the business run more smoother, run well. Improving systems. So let me say the way how the business to do things, improving it. So if you see, whereas certain systems are broken, or let me say you have like certain bottlenecks or setbacks in certain things you're doing, like maybe certain processes taking long because maybe it have to go through a long process of reaching to different persons, whatever it be, improving your systems, improving workflows as well. So figuring out what processes or procedures you take to get things done and seeing how you could improve them. So like how we talk about automation, automation is a simple way to improve your workflows by finding out what those repetitive tasks that you just do and finding out how you could have AI or just automation platforms handle those repetitive tasks for you, such as email, lead generation, tracking customers, different things along those lines. And then, yeah, for sure, improving decision making. So, data driven decision making is so powerful. It's something that a lot of business owners overlook, but when you use data to make decisions, you could advance your business in so much ways. Because like I use an example on multiple occasions on this platform, on this podcast, where I talk about Kevin O'Leary. Most people know him as Mr. Wonderful. And he talked about how he used data to make data driven decisions, and it made him millions because, in summary, he explained how he is part of a winery business, and they noticed from checking data that they had from the past that around summertime, most people want sweet wines like Moscatos and Rosés and those things. So what they do when it was coming up to that time, they lessen the production of those dry and other wines, and they increase the production of the sweet wines. And because of that, they was able to make millions more than they would have than they did the year before, and all these things. That's data. That's using data to make smart decisions, to put your money in the smart places that going to capitalize, you're going to monetize, you're going to be able to get a good return from. So bottom line, business optimization actually means analyzing your business and seeing how you just do things and seeing if they have any way that you could do these things better. So that's to say in a nutshell, like just analyze, observe, take note of how you just do things, what you just do, your processes, how the operation is run, and then looking to see how you could make things run more smoother, automate things, any way that you could improve your processes. That's business optimization. So like I say, automation is doing tasks automatically, but optimization is improving how the business actually operates. Now, why most businesses stay inefficient? And I just want to list these common problems. Number one, no data tracking. Number two, poor communication systems. Number three, unclear processes. Number four, manual tasks everywhere. Number five, unclear roles. And number six, no performance tracking. So especially that last one, most businesses that live a long life, most businesses that are long lived, that ain't just start up today and close tomorrow, they have ways to make sure they're not falling into these common problems. So like I mentioned, I just talked about data tracking. Keeping data is so powerful. People don't know. Like I even had an episode where I referenced a fisherman locally here in St. Martin. He was able to secure a loan because he keeps records. Every day he go can fish, he keep a record of how much fish he catch, how much he make for the fish. So now he able to compile this data. He could say, okay, I make this for the month. And even more powerful, because of this, he was able to recognize that, let me say, around summertime, a specific breed of fish doesn't, there's be less in the water. So as he said, the red snapper around summertime, they'll have less population, maybe because of the high increased heat, of the water. And because of that, he, around those times, the more focus on, let me say, lobster or other breed of fish. And that there is using data to make smart decisions. That there is saying, look, I ain't gonna waste my time or my money going to fish for red snapper when I know I ain't gonna catch none. Ain't gonna make no sense. You check? That's just like me saying, okay, look, I selling coconut water, but I notice it doing better for me if I sell it in a small bottle. People buying more, the turnover is more. Like making smart decisions. You gotta track what's going on, what's happening in your business over time, and observe and say, okay, look, because of this, we're going to do this moving forward. Simple. Sometimes some may call it a pivot, but simple. So going back to these common problems, as I mentioned, poor communication. Maybe the boss man ain't clearly telling the employees their responsibilities, or maybe there's poor communication on who doing what. So let me say maybe multiple people doing the same task, and because of that, things ain't really getting to progress as it's supposed to. You need clear communication channels and clear channels to know, okay, this person, like how it said it as well, unclear roles, meaning people don't know what their role is. People don't know what their responsibility or what tasks they have to complete. So these different core problems are things that could cause a business to falter, to run into problems, like even unclear processes. These are things I self experience, You start a job and they don't have no real training program. They just maybe put you to shadow a senior employee for a couple of days, not even like a month or a couple of weeks, maybe a week, and you get thrown in the water. But then if you, as the employee, ain't doing things as the company want, you don't want to look bad. But then it's no clear outline processes of, okay, this is what we want you to do, this is how we want you to do it. So these things as well, like SOPs, which is standard operating procedures, come into place, so okay, this is how the company does do these procedures, this is how we want you to proceed and implement these things. Good. Like how I talk about no performance tracking. Basically, all big businesses, KPIs. You hear KPI in, let's be honest, are you working a job? You probably hear the word KPI. You have a business that running well, you probably know the term KPI, which stands for key performance indicators. So if you want, I actually pull it up just for you so you can know. KPIs, key performance indicators, are quantifiable, time-bound metrics used to measure an organization's, a team's, or a project's success in achieving strategic objectives. Simple. In simple terms, these the things that you just pay attention to see if your business doing good. So let me say maybe you're keeping track of sales, because if sales increasing, then you're making more money. Or you're keeping track of like customer satisfaction or customer retention and these different things. Different businesses have different KPIs. So maybe if you're a marketing business, you focus more on, let me say, reach. So let me say social media marketing, you focusing on, let me say, lead generation or lead conversion, and let me say views and reach, like I say, so getting people to share and interact with the things that you share on social media. All these things is KPI. So now on a marketing or social media platform, your KPIs will be different from, let me say, a normal sales or product based company. So these are things that you gotta pay attention to, So bottom line, many businesses are not failing because the idea is bad. They're failing because the operations are messy. The operations are not structured, are not clear and outlined. So everything just all over the place. Everybody all over the place doing whatever they want, and maybe money coming in, but it's not structured, it's not organized. So you don't know where the leaks are, you don't know what's the good things you're doing, you don't know what's the bad things you're doing. You're just doing. So these is where optimization, like I say, knowing what you're doing, how you're doing it, analyzing your processes, analyzing what you just do, and seeing ways how you could, let me say, just simply better the situation. to say it simply. Big up my boy Eddie in the chat. Blessings. Yes, I. Big up my boy Eddie. My brother from long time. My brother from another mother. Yeah. Big up yourself. But yeah. So they have various different business optimization strategies. But I can dive into this list here for you. So, as it says here, core business optimization strategies, process improvement and automation. So, that there is important, like how we just talked about. You got to know the processes you're doing. Once you know the process, meaning like you write down how you just do things, like your workflow, how things just flow from, let me say, a customer reach out to you, or maybe they see a post from you and they're interested. So how does it work from that interest to you getting the money? Check the process. What's the process? So they got process mapping, which I can talk about that a little bit just now in this slide. But on a more macro level, process improvement and automation means mapping existing workflows to identify and eliminate bottlenecks or redundant steps. Simple. So to say it in simpler terms, you're writing down whether on a piece of paper or, it's 2026. So we got tablets and phone, wherever you want, write it down. You write down your workflow. Like I say, how things does flow, how you does do your process, your service, whether it's you're creating a product or you're giving a service. So let me say, if you are a product-based business, let me say like my coconut stand, was the process of getting the coconut, getting all the items you need to, let me say, bottle it, all the things you need to do. Let me say the procedure you just go through to clean the area, the location where you just sell, how you just handle opening it, cutting it, bottling it, how you just sell it, the whole process, the whole workflow. You gotta sit down and write it down. Or let me say like consulting, like how I offer consulting services. You gotta think to yourself, okay, how does it look from my side of things as the servicer or from the customer side of things? So you got to think to yourself, what I just do was my process to provide this service to the customer. How I just do it, and write it down. Check. Once you do that, you could find out or decide and decipher where is the places that things bottlenecking, meaning like you're getting kickbacks, things that causing like problems, let me just say, or eliminating redundant steps, like I talk about automating repetitive tasks, things that you would have to be doing every day, like going checking email, or things that repetitive, how you could lighten a load, how you could automate it, so automate repetitive tasks such as data entry, reporting, or customer service to reduce errors and free up staff for higher value activities. So bottom line is saying automate things like having to go and put in, let me say, if an order come in, you got to go as an employee and put in yourself in a spreadsheet. Okay, this order, this person want this, and data entry, whatever data entry necessary in your business, whether people gotta physically by hand put in orders or whatever other part of the process people gotta do, repetitive, automate it so that now those people, instead of having to take so much time having to sit down and look through this spreadsheet and back check. A good example, a cousin of mine the other day bring it to my attention on his job. Let me say like every couple of weeks, every maybe 2 weeks, he have to sit down and like let me say validate the cash. So check the accounts receivable and accounts payable, check to see what money was received and just make sure everything is verified. And as he tell me, he does spend so much time just sitting down going through, looking at receipts, going through, looking at like orders that was sent out and thing, and just trying to check to see if everything correspond and everything is balanced. And it's like, yo, it's 2026, bro. AI, you shouldn't have to be doing that. And even if your boss ain't trying to do it for you, like implement a process that you shouldn't have to do that. You could for yourself sit down and map out, okay, when I have to do this, back checking and auditing and verifying, this is what it does have to do from start to finish. And then now you could see how you could automate that. You check? But anyways, process improvement and automation, technology adoption, data-driven decision making. I talk about that quite a bit already. And then you have Lean and Six Sigma methodologies, sorry. Strategic resource management, talent development and culture, and strategic partnership and growth. So these are the various different optimization strategies. I know I dive into the first one already, but I just wanted to go through all of them and then I'll just dive in a little more into each of them. Before I do that, I just want to touch on another one that was not mentioned, which is finance and resource management. So they talk here about strategic resource management, but I just wanted to mention finance because finances is its own can of worms, its own, entity by itself, So yeah, here they probably just tie it all in like resources and everything all in one, reducing costs and all that. But yeah, finances is an important thing. You gotta really touch on that like by itself. So going back, like I say, process improvement and automation. So I touched on that already. Technology and adoption. So leveraging AI, machine learning, cloud-based software. So meaning like cloud-based software to improve operational speed and decision making. So implementing a CRM system can improve client communication and data management. I totally agree. CRM is customer resource management systems. Now, like it say, using these cloud-based software and these different things could help you also, as it says, improve operational speed and decision making. So meaning make things work faster. So because now people ain't have to sit down and type in a customer profile like in detail in a spreadsheet. Now the operational speed is faster, because now all these things is automated and streamlined. So once they sign up, or let me say once they put in an order, they automatically ask to put in their contact information, and then automatically from that order, the contact information would automatically populate into your database and, keep the things them integrated and well meshed. Check. So technology, adapting it and utilizing it as leverage. Check. Data-driven decision making. I gave two great examples of that a little earlier in this episode. If you missed them, I recommend you to go back and check it out. Lean and Six Sigma methodologies. Apply principles that focus on minimizing waste, so lean, and reducing defects or variability, Six Sigma, to create smoother, more reliable workflow. So meaning if your business, especially like long running businesses, maybe have like a lot of overhead, a lot of operational costs, a lot of different resources, things that they use maybe in the factory or whatever, things that maybe they buy but they don't use no more. You minimize waste. So you go through, check out, okay, look, this are these things we have but we don't use. What we could do with it, whether sell it, give it away, throw it away, whatever it is, you lighten your load, you remove the clutter so that you could create a smoother, more reliable workflow. And then on the other hand, like it says Six Sigma, well, similarly, reducing defects or variability, meaning defects, things that ain't working, things that maybe working but ain't working 100%. You know, like we here in the islands, especially, we like to, maybe we got something, a tool or whatever, and maybe it get broken, like, you know, like semi broken, but it's still working, so we keep it, you know. But Six Sigma telling you reduce defects, meaning those things defective, it ain't working fully, it ain't 100%, so it's defective. You check. So reducing those defects or variability, meaning like when you have a lot of different moving parts, a lot of different type of things, a lot of different options, you know. So meaning maybe certain businesses that, like I say, been running a long time, maybe they're running over decades or maybe 100 years they're running, and they have multiple things on their product list. But now to make the business run smoother, they gotta like lighten the load. They gotta like lessen those variables, lessen those amount of different things that they selling so that they could have like a more focus, a more clear direction and vision moving forward so that they could better their situation. Let me say, like, for example, a business that's maybe doing bad, maybe a business that, like, you know, close to bankruptcy, running into the ground, seeking assistance, seeking guidance on how they could turn the tide, how they could better their situation to not have to close, but, you know, get things turned around and moving back up. Six Sigma is an example of an option, whereas if it's a business that maybe they have a lot of products, so let me say maybe like a McDonald's or maybe like a textile company, so like a company that make like fabrics and those different things, like somebody consulting with they would maybe when they come in and they're doing the analysis and they see like, okay, they have like 6-7 different product types, but maybe 3 of them failing, 3 of them ain't doing too good, but then the others, maybe 2 out of the others then doing great, you know, and they have high demand for those, you know. That consultant might advise that company and tell them, look, I recommend you maybe drop these other product lines that you have and focus on these ones here that actually profitable, these ones that actually doing good for you. Keep your focus on the winners, and forget the losers, basically. So that's why it falls with lean and Six Sigma kind of fall in the same category, because the idea is reducing waste and reducing those variables so that you could create a smoother, more reliable workflow. Check. Simple. Now, strategic resource management, like we touched on that a little bit just now, that covers resources, but I know they're going to talk about costs and finances in here too. But strategic resource management covers optimizing inventory levels using real-time data-driven systems to reduce holding costs, outsource non-core activities, for example, IT support or payroll, to specialized providers to focus on core competencies. Meaning, okay, let me start from the top. Optimize inventory levels using real-time data-driven systems. So like how we just talked about the CRMs and those things, these is like platforms or systems that you could use to keep track of, let me say, your inventory, your orders, customer satisfaction, just customer retention, a customer overview. Let me say everything related to how well you deal with your customer, everything related to your sales, everything related to, your supplies and these things. So not all of them have the supply chain and the supply inventory section, but if you want it, you could also add that. But bottom line, the idea is you use these platforms to make smarter choices. Let me say like somebody like me who does have produce. As we know, produce don't have long shelf life. So let me say if I order plantain, let me say I make an order of various different produce. Plantain, pumpkin, avocado, mango, different things. Maybe I have demand for it already. So I have some customers that want it. So I know for sure once I order, let me say 100 kilos of each, it's going to sell. But now, maybe this month I order my 100 kilos of everything, but then the demand for, let me say, the avocado is low this month. So now I stay back with half that 100 kilo and 50 kilos waste. So that's wastage. When you're using these type of data-driven systems, you could reduce your holding costs because now you're optimizing your inventory levels. You're like one of these companies that they need a big warehouse because they bring in a bunch of things and they don't have the demand for it. So they don't have the customers that want to buy it, but they just buy in bulk and they keep it in a storage area for some time. When you optimize the inventory levels, you could move lean. You could say, you know what? Let me say a good example. I have connections with people to bring in goat meat. And I say, instead of me having to send my money to these regional partners to bring in goat meat and then have to find out who want goat meat and then sell it. Whereas maybe if people don't want, then I know sitting with a bunch of goat meat in my freezer or, instead of doing that, you put out, you see the demand first. So let me say for me, I would advertise. I would put out a flyer saying, okay, goat meat available, place your orders. Once people order, then I'll order goat meat by the order. So I'll compile everything, see how much I'll need, and then I'll go to the regional partner and tell them, okay, look, I need this amount because now on my side, I don't know, okay, this person want 5, this person want 10, this person want 50. And then I know, okay, I go to the regional partner and say, okay, I need 100. So now, once that reach here, I ain't gotta be sitting on it. I ain't gotta be wondering how we're gonna sell because it's already sold. The demand is there. It's already known who want it because they don't put in the order. Check. Making smart choices. Like how my niece the same. You gotta make smart choices. Yeah. So, like how we also mentioned, outsourcing non-core activities. So maybe in your business you have somebody who does do like your marketing, so somebody who does create flyers and promotions and post it on the social media and so on, but you realize like that person have other skills that more high level and more valuable, and you could pay somebody who their focus is, we say, marketing and social media management. You could pay that person to do that task for you, and now you free up that space or that time in-house, that now your in-house people, your employees, don't have to do these non-core activities, you know. So talent development and culture, I find that's a deep one. That's something that I feel does be overlooked in a lot of companies. So invest in training programs to enhance employee skills and efficiency. Foster a culture of innovation that encourages employees to contribute ideas for process improvement. Good. So like it say, invest in training programs to enhance employee skills and efficiency. Many employers hire people, like I talked about a little while ago. They hire people, don't give them no proper training on how they want the process done. And then down the line, they get angry with the employee for not fulfilling the process as they want it. But then it's like, but you never outline how you wanted it done. So once I getting it done, that's the most important thing. That's how most employees look at it, you know. But is just clear outline processes. Once you be straight up and clear with people from the beginning, from the jump, you don't have nothing to worry about because they don't know what to expect. You know what to expect from them, and everybody on the same page, you know. Once you ain't clear with people from the beginning, you're going to get little mishaps, you're going to get little miscommunication. And then, especially if those miscommunications are not handled in a proper, clear, communication oriented manner, they're going to just fester. And then they're going to grow. And then down the line, they're going to be a bigger problem that now you're going to be angry with this employee because they ain't doing what they're supposed to do, but you never give them clear boundaries and clear outline of, look, this is what you gotta do. And when you see they're doing something you don't want them to do, you won't tell them, look, I don't want you doing that like that. So if you are not clear with your employees, you can't expect them to move clear, do things in a clear, concise manner, plain and simple. You know, so talent development is important, and fostering a culture of growth, like a culture that people feel at home. Like my mindset is fostering a family centric culture within the workplace. So make it feel like a family, not like a yeah, a dreaded job. You know, I don't want my employees to feel like, I gotta go work By me want to go India now, but I gotta go because I gotta make the dollar. Nah, me, I want my employees checking by. All of others treat me good. I want to go and do this work because, yeah, man, all of them making sure me, my family good, everybody good. So once I go out and do what I gotta do, the business running good and all of we gonna be good. So I gonna do my part because I know once I do my part, Susie gonna do she part, Jack gonna do he part, and in unison, everything will just compile together to make a beautiful, abundant harvest. Yeah. So culture, you gotta treat people well. That's one thing I talk about a lot, and even had a conversation about it recently. And bottom line, a lot of times I notice recently in these companies, they just treat the employees badly. They don't treat the employees with care. They don't treat the employees with no type of recognition and no type of appreciation for what they do. And I am of the mindset that yes, I understand employers probably got a mindset like these people need the job, so they gonna come because they need the money. So I guess those employers feel like they don't care how they treat the employee because no matter what, they're gonna come and do the job because they need the money. But I am of the opinion that same coin, two sides to the same coin. On the other side, on the other hand, if your employee don't come to work, your business is not gonna make money. Simple as that. So you have to appreciate and care for your talent that you have under your umbrella because okay, maybe if you're a small scale solopreneur, that maybe you got one employee that working for you and they checking the income and go work, they quit. Maybe you could find a way to fall in, but then now everything fall on you. All the high level, let me say, administrative managerial tasks and the implementation. But now, if it's a bigger business, multiple departments, multiple revenue streams, multiple different facets. If all the employees don't come to work, if they say, you know what, we on strike, I ain't dealing with we good, we tired of this, all are we done with this in united unison, we ain't coming into work. That company ain't making money. Because even if they decide they're gonna open the doors and leave customers come in, the customers ain't gonna be able to get service. So unless you got some type of well automated business with all kind of machines that the customer come in, the product is either already made or making itself through some machinery and solving them too and taking the money and all of that. You gotta respect your people because without them you can't make your money. You check? And a lot of businesses don't recognize that and don't value that. They rather, like I say, treat the employees like garbage or, just a plethora of employment injustices. Let me just put it like that. And they don't recognize, like, yo, if these people don't come, I ain't making no money. Like, okay, yeah, if that person quit, maybe I could hire somebody else. Maybe I could get them on quick and keep things rolling. But at scale, you're dead. Straight up. So like Myron Golden, let's say, the problem is people love the money and just use the people. So because they love the money, they just use people for the love of the money. But we should use the money to love the people. Use the money that we're making to love the people around us. Do things that is beneficial for not just us, but the people around us, whether our family, our friends, our immediate like surroundings, community, however, whatever. Like, don't be just using people for your own gain and to advance your dreams, and you showing them no type of appreciation, no type of care. That's not right. That's why most of the businesses that are do good is the ones them that know how to treat the employees well. Of course, it's a give and take, because you can't give too much because you gotta keep the business running. So you can't just give your employees everything, cause then business can run into the ground. But you gotta make sure you deal with them good. So faster or positive growth mindset culture. And then strategic partnerships and growth. Collaborate with suppliers and logistic partners to enhance supply chain efficiency. Consider mergers, acquisitions, or enter new markets to drive growth. So the last strategic business optimization strategy that they have here is to make partnerships and grow. So if, let me say, you as a farmer, make partnerships with maybe grocery stores or whatever distribution systems they have, whether it's the grocery stores or maybe farmers markets, or maybe it have like a home delivery service like a Uber Eats or SXM to go. You know, if you're a farmer, you check in, I got my produce steady. Let me call SXM to go. Tell them, look, you could put my products on the list. And anytime anybody want any fresh produce, they could place an order on SXM to go. That's creating strategic partnerships, because now you don't have to go and figure out, okay, I gotta go find a customer, I gotta put together the order, I gotta go deliver it, I gotta make sure I fulfill it well and customer service with a smile. Nah, you, like how we say about in the outsourcing, you focusing on your core activities, which is producing. So then once you produce, if you don't want to have to create that distribution channel, partner with somebody who don't have it. Or like I say, suppliers. Maybe if you done producing something, but you don't have the scale or the amount to sustain the demand that you have, maybe partner with some regional partners. And that goes for anything. Even if you maybe a consultant, partner with maybe lawyers or business owners, or let me say chamber of commerce, different entities that, let me say, would give your company an edge, give your company a little advantage, make it look like, wow, okay, I could deal with them, boy. Look who they dealing with. Look who's their partners. Partner with the bank, partner with somebody, find somebody that you could say, by me and this man working together. All that is better for you. All that helping you reach an awareness and increasing revenue for both you and that person and those entities. You check, because now more people getting to know them, more people getting, let me say, inquisitive, so they go, they interested, and they check it out. So whatever you could do to increase and grow as a business, so coming over here, like I talk about financial and resource management, we say cost structure audit, review fixed and variable costs to identify and eliminate non-essential expenses. That's a big one. So let me say, like I say, if you have a product list, you could check out what's your cost. Even if it's fixed costs, maybe you have a location that you paying lease on, but you don't even really use that location. Why you paying for it? Close a lease. That's money that could stay in your pocket, So you eliminate non-essential expenses to basically free up more revenue. Check. Supply chain optimization, that's kind of what I just talked about. Negotiate with vendors for better terms. So meaning negotiating with, let me say, maybe a suppliers so that consolidate suppliers to increase volume discount. So meaning you get discounts because you buy more bulk, and adapt just in time inventory systems to reduce holding costs. Meaning, like how I mentioned, you won't have no warehouse full of bunch of um produce or meat or whatever the hell to be you selling. Even if it's like a machine or whatever to be. You do just in time inventory, meaning, like I say, whether by order or you order just enough so that when it reach that finish, you don't have to worry or go back and tell yourself, by okay, make some good sales, but I still got some left. What I can do to get these off? And then now you got to figure out how you could promote it, or maybe get discount or something, do some type of special campaign or some type of thing to get it off. No, you do things lean, you do things streamline. Whereas now, like I use my goat meat analogy, you make it whereas you don't gotta be holding a bunch of things and worrying that by these things go spoil on me. I can cancel that after a while. So no, you do it in a way that, let me say, just in time, just enough. Like how they say, the baby bear porridge, just right. So I don't know if you're familiar with the story. I would expect you are, but like they say, mother bear porridge was too hot, father bear porridge was too cold, baby bear porridge was just right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the same thing. You want to be just right, just balance, just what you need, right on the button, bam, check. And then yeah, cash flow monitoring, use forecasting tools to manage liquidity and avoid emergency borrowing. So meaning you use tools to keep track of your cash flow to see how the money coming in and so on, and you try to manage your money as well as possible so that you don't have to be borrowing if something arises. Check. So that's that on that. I want to touch on the process mapping a little bit. So like we talk about the process mapping when we touch on this first one, the process improvement and automation. So like how we say, map existing workflows to identify and eliminate bottlenecks or redundant steps. Good. So that's where this process mapping comes into place. So business process mapping is a visual technique, visual mainly, used to analyze. So you think about your process, analyze it, you think and see, okay, this is how I do it, okay, okay, this, and then we do it, analyze, think on it on a deep level, see things through critical thinking, like deep, and document it. So write it down, like I say, usually visual and thing for process mapping. But even if you sit down and you write down, okay, this is what I do, then I'll do this, then I'll do that. Even that is process mapping because that's where it starts. Once you write it down, then you could turn it into a nice visual, visually appealing flow. And yeah, like I say, visual technique used to analyze, document, and improve operational workflows by creating detailed diagrams For example, flowcharts or swim lanes that define steps, decisions, and responsibilities. Plain, simple, clear. Check. So you're basically analyzing, thinking on a deep level, like, okay, this is what I does do. I would say I just sell microgreens. How I does do it from start to finish. What I need to do it, why I does have to go and get and put together, how I does do it, like meaning once I got all the items, what's the process I does take to grow these things or bring it to what a customer want. Similarly, maybe with my cream liqueur, what I need, what I does put together, what items I does have to gather in order for me to create this cream liqueur. Then what's the process? How I does do it? So when I got all my items together, ingredients, what I does do? So let me say what's my recipe? How I does put it together to make the product? And then also even how I does market it, how I does sell it. Check. So from start to finish, that's your process. So you map your process. Even if you a consultant or maybe you a digital creator, you have maybe digital apps or designs or whatever it is that you just create. What's your process from start to finish? When you open whether Canva or whatever platform you just use, how you just start, what's your process, and then after you create it and you finish with it, where you just do with it, where you just put it, how you just like track it and check out what it's doing, how you just sell it. That's make sure the key. Because what we about? We about making money, right? That's what business is about. Making money, solving a problem. That's all a business is. A business is somebody see a problem that a lot of people have that they're willing to pay money for and they solve it. So now people paying them because they checking like, buy, I wanted this solution and I got this money. I don't mind spending for that solution. So hold this money because I know it can bring me value as a business, bringing value to people in need. Plain. So as I explain this process mapping, like I say, visual, analyze, document, and then once you document it, you could figure out the bottlenecks, like how this page says. After you map your existing workflow, you can identify and eliminate bottlenecks and redundant steps. Check. So going back to this one, using these big process mapping methods, it allows you to enhance efficiency by identifying bottlenecks, reducing costs, and streamlining operations. So doing things more smoother. All of that, when you identify a bottleneck, you remove that problem or that issue, and then things running more smoother. And now, because you realize, okay, maybe I spending too much money on this expense, you reduce that expense, you reduce costs so that you're making more money. Once you're making more money, your process moving a lot more smoother, things going to grow and things going to elevate in your business, plain and simple. So key steps include identifying the process. So, of course, process mapping, you got to map out the process, gathering data. So, maybe you might need data from your various platforms or wherever it is used to track, and then mapping current states, analyzing and implementing improvements. So bottom line, check out your process, see what you just do, how you just do it, gather information, whether it be like internal or seeing how other people just do things, and then yeah, you write down how things is right now. So like it's say mapping current states, meaning like not like United States, but like current states, like how things are right now, and then analyze and implement improvements. So see what you could do better and then do them. Simple, simple. So some common ways to map your processes are these five, which are flowcharts, which is a basic visual step-by-step diagram which show like the flow from start of the process to the end. A swim lane diagram maps out processes by functional responsibility, showing who does what, meaning it map out the process similar to like, like a flow chart step by step, but then it telling you who doing what, who's responsible for each portion of the process. Then they got value stream maps, which identifies waste, value add, and non-add steps. So meaning this one here is more, you gotta analyze and see, okay, what you're doing, see what working, what not working, and this going to tell you what's not working. It's going to identify what's waste, what you could remove, and was things that is value add, things that you could maybe add or increase on that would benefit your business. A CPAC diagram is a high-level view covering suppliers, inputs, process, outputs, and customers. So that says it all. And then a turtle diagram focuses on a single process, detailing inputs, outputs, resources, and requirements. So just to say, some key benefits are increasing efficiency, improving communication, improving accountability, and continuous improvement. So it provides a baseline. So like you get an idea of where you stand now so that you could see how you could better things and, keep growing and better your business, grow your business so it could be $1 million business, let me say. Check. So I got a nice page here about what is business process mapping and all that good stuff, but I ain't gonna go through the whole thing. I just want to read this little portion here. Business process mapping is essential for organizations to understand, analyze, and improve their internal processes. Good night, TM Jonathan. Lessons. It visually represents a company's operational activities from beginning to end, while outlining the steps involved in each process. The process map is a flow chart that displays how work flows within an organization, identifying the inputs required for each steps and the outputs generated by each stage. Business process mapping aims to increase efficiency and productivity by identifying and removing inefficiencies, redundancies, and bottlenecks. It also helps create a shared understanding of the organization's workflow and maintains consistency in the process. Good. So, that being said, I know I say a lot. Hey, DTM, Sarah, Stone in the house. Woot woot. Welcome. Welcome. I appreciate you for joining. So yeah, I know I say a lot and I share a lot of different strategies and business optimization methods But all this what you're talking about is basically saying you sit down and you think about what you just do and how you just do it, and you find ways to better the situation. So if you see, whereas maybe you have some type of bottleneck, so a bottleneck would be maybe you dependent on one supplier and sometimes they just be out of supply, so you just be out of supply. Or maybe you dependent on one specific employee who maybe is like a managerial level or maybe even a employee level that, let me say, have all the knowledge base, and now everybody have to go to that person because maybe they've been employed with a company for a long time, but now the processes are not outlined. So now once that person in there, things kind of running shaky, you know? So all these things are bottlenecks, things that if you really sit down and analyze how your work flowing, how your business running, you're going to see and find ways that you could better the situation. And understand this works for business, but also even in your personal life. Like even things that you just do, whether on the job or at home, things that you just do all the time that you could automate, or things that you just do that you could lighten your load on. You know, maybe adding some tool would make it way more easier and faster for you. All these things is things that you analyze when you're looking at optimization, optimizing your business. But like I say, it also is transferable to your personal life because let's be honest, especially in this day and age, you have a lot of people that let me say is a business, but in like a normal traditional business, you know, maybe they have a online business that everything operating for itself, like let me say Amazon FBA, whereas all they're doing is ordering products from China, selling it on Amazon website. They don't even have to like store or have no warehouse space. It's just they're sitting on behind a computer doing it. Whatever it is you're doing is about sitting down and finding a way how you could check and map out. So like literally document how you just do what you just do. And let me say if they're running smooth and everything streamlined already and you don't need to change nothing, then kudos to you. But if you do and you see certain where or certain places where things could be better, whereas if you make slight adjustments, it'll move a lot smoother. Do so, you know. Take the time to sit down and analyze for yourself. Okay, this is what I just do. This is how I just do it. Can I do it in a better way? And if you tell yourself yes, see was your solution, implement it. Plain and simple. That's all of this what I talking about. So that's it in layman terms. Yeah. So going back, I just want to share one last portion. So everybody understand these optimization practices and strategies differently. People does interpret them differently and implement them differently in a sense of like it kind of all the same underlying, all have they have basic generalized business strategy, business optimization strategies. But some people, how we are. We make our own spin on things, of course. So bottom line, I have this list. Ask ChatGPT to give it to me. And I tell it exactly this. I need a list and breakdown of business optimization practices and strategies in general, and give me some that Myron Golden and Alex Hormozy practice. So my regular viewers know I to talk about Myron Golden all the time. Alex Hormozy, I have spoke about him on different occasions, but two people that I would say I respect very much, especially in the business consulting and business optimization realm. So the response ChatGPT gave me is, since you're building out your consulting ecosystem and already operate from a structured methodology, this is right in your lane. See, my ChatGPT know me now. I'll break this into three parts. So the core business optimization practices probably will be exactly like the ones that we just went through. Then optimization strategies commonly from Myron Golden. Then optimization strategies commonly practiced by Alex Hormozy. So you get like the kind of differences, so you get to see how people tailor it to their own understanding or their own delivery. Let me say like that. So also let's see how this aligns with my execute with excellence framework, but we might not dive into all of that. The core business optimization practices, universal principles. So these are across industries, agriculture to consulting to SaaS, everything. So strategic clarity, so define a clear target market, clarify the core problem you solve, and establish measurable revenue and margin targets. Now, the little thing from my thing, it says optimization starts with clarity, not tactics. Now, offer optimization, improve perceived value, increase pricing where justified, add guarantees, stack bonuses instead of discounted, eliminate weak or confusing offers. And the goal is to increase average transaction value, meaning the average amount you just get per transaction, and your conversion rate. So meaning when a lead come in, so when somebody come on your page and see your product and maybe interested in your product, conversion mean that they actually buy. So a lead generation mean you put up something that people could see and know what your business offering. When they see that, it's up to them to be intrigued, or if they're not interested, they can just scroll right past it. But now, if they are intrigued, they can go in, check it out, and then conversion mean whatever it is they see, they buy. Revenue optimization, meaning you try to make sure you're getting the optimum amount of money, so whether you're upselling things, so maybe if you like me, you selling coconut water, but you check, you can sell the jelly on the side, or you can sell like spiked coconut water as well, or whatever to be, or cross sell. So maybe instead of upselling it, you sell something else with it. So maybe if you sell one, like maybe somebody come buy a passion fruit juice, but then you also selling tamarind juice, you promote that too, and you try to get them to sell by both. And recurring revenue, those is like creating subscriptions and those things, subscription models, all those things is recurring revenue, so that, you know, think on like Netflix or whatever subscription you have that you have to pay money for every month. This is optimizing your revenue, because now ain't just a one-time payment and then that customer gone and then you gotta hope that they're gonna come back and buy again. No, you set it up that they are lifetime customer basically. You know, every month they paying you money on the ball like clockwork. You know, payment plans. You know, you could set up those too if you know you got people that you want to get their patronage, but you know they don't have the money to set up payment plans. But those will be a little more tricky, and you gotta make sure you set them up right. And then back end monetization. So just basically adding different layers or levels of monetization. So when they come and they buy one thing, maybe they use it a little bit and they realize, okay, to really get more out of it, they gotta buy a next level or type thing, you know. So think on like those games or apps that you have on your phone that maybe you download it, it say it's free, but then when you get in, it got in-app purchases. Those are back-end monetization. And then yeah, the goal is to increase customer lifetime value. So LTV, which I actually did search LTV just for, you know, educational purposes. So LTV, lifetime value, or CLV, which is customer lifetime value, represents the total revenue or profit a business can expect from a single customer throughout their entire relationship. So bottom line, that's like maybe if you're selling coconut water and you have a customer that you know coming steady, maybe every 2 days they come in and buy. LTV would be you calculate, okay, for the whole duration of this person coming to buy from me. So let me say their lifetime, whether, you know, it be that God forbid something happened to them or, you know, whatever to be. For their whole lifetime, they would spend 10,000 with your company. You check that good LTV, depending on what you're selling, you know, and with those type of information, you could start to like backtrack or like reverse engineer what you want to do. So you could tell yourself, okay, if this person giving me 10, if I get, you know, 5, 6 lifetime customers, I know that's this amount of money for sure type vibe. You get to make smart decisions, calculated decisions, you know. Marketing efficiency. So improve messaging clarity, strengthen headline and hook, increase conversion at each funnel stage, improve lead follow-up speed, automate nurture sequence. So this, I would say, is clear in the sense of marketing efficiency, meaning you want to market your business in the right way, in the most clear, smooth, streamlined way that, you know, like I say, improve messaging clarity. So you make sure once people read your message, let me say you send out a post or a flyer or promotion, it's supposed to be that once people read it, they understand one time, okay, all of us selling goat meat. Yeah, maybe you might have nice song and dance, nice visually attracting design, but the bottom line is the message got to be clear. If you want goat meat, contact Oliver. If you want AI consulting services, contact Oliver. Check. Improve messaging clarity, strengthen headlines and hooks. So, you want that when people come in, they hook, a hook is like, a portion of your ad that grabs attention most times in the beginning. Increase conversion at each funnel. So, like I mentioned, a funnel is like a lead generation process. So let me say somebody see your flyer and they're interested in your service. So it starts there. That would be the start of the funnel, your marketing post. So let me say a flyer. They'll see a flyer and next they'll maybe click a link to place an order. The link would bring them to a product page, whereas they could see all the products that are available and then they could purchase. And like like I say, you outline the whole process, and then like from them seeing to them buying, and then now increasing conversion at each funnel stage, mean just seeing how you could put in little things in the funnel process so that it could encourage people to want to spend. Conversion mean basically you're getting your customer to spend. Yeah. And then like I say, improve lead follow-up, automate and nurture sequence. And then operational optimization. So like how we say about mapping workflows, eliminate bottlenecks, remove redundant tasks, automate repetitive tasks, and create SOPs. I talk about that, standard operational procedures, meaning the way how people do things in the business. Once you create that, you could share that to your employee, which I mentioned that in my previous episode about my coconut station. I did that. I created a SOP for how I want the coconut stand to operate. And when I spoke to my helper, I shared the SOP with them. And because of that, everything went smooth. Like they understood the assignment and they executed. And maybe they had one or two questions, but nothing to say like, yeah, they was like confused or none of them thing, So bottom line, yeah, these are the things that you do to help optimize your business. So financial optimization and then team optimization, business optimization practices from Myron Golan. Talk about value-based pricing. So he teaches don't charge based on time, charge based on the transformation, meaning what a person getting out of your service or product. And then price according to the results delivered. Offer positioning as irresistible. Emphasizes make the offer bigger than the price. Sell results, not features. Speak to identity transformation. Like I say, transformation. You focus on the time, you focus on the transformation and the value that the person getting from your product. Multiplication over addition teaches stop trading time for money, build leverage income streams, focus on scalable models, courses, licensing, high ticket programs. Belief in messaging optimization. He focuses heavily on language precision, framing problems properly, selling through education. And then increase LTV over chasing leads. He emphasizes better backend offers, high ticket continuity, and essential models. So When somebody come in and they buy one product, you have like another level that more expensive, but you know, because they come and they get that first transformation, they're more inclined to move to the next level. Now, for Alex Hormozy, slightly different. Says Alex Hormozy is extremely tactical and data driven, which I noticed that when you hear him talking, he talk CAC, LTV, all these different, you know, um, all these different short versions to basically keep track, you know, keep your data, track your data to see how well you're running. You know, so the first one, the value equation, he optimizes value as, let me say, the dream outcome. So what's the outcome the customer or the person your customer wants? Was their dream times the perceived likelihood, meaning how reasonable it is, how possible it is, how was the likelihood of it actually happening, you know, and then divide that by the time delay and times the effort and sacrifice that you put in. So he increases value by increasing perceived certainty, reducing friction, and reducing time to result, which makes sense. You know, if you have a shorter turnaround time, then you please your customer sooner and you get to move on to other customers faster. You know, offer stacking. So talks about adding bonuses, adding guarantees, adding scarcity, adding urgency. So meaning when you do an offer, you put like a limited time on it so that people, you know, can, let me say like you put a limited time, because that does make people want it more, you know, and over delivers. So, you know, basically give people kind of more than what you promise so that now they can come back because they expect, you know, they know like, okay, this person is serious about his services. Conversion rate optimization. So like how I talk about the converting, you know, get more leads. Yes. So a lead is when somebody, a potential customer sees what you're doing. We just say that. You know, they come, they see, and they possibly go and click on it and go and buy. You know, so conversion now is when they buy. I keep stressing on it. So instead of saying get more leads, he does ask, why is your close rate so low? Meaning, instead of checking like, okay, get more people in the door, he analyze how you're doing things to see if maybe the problem isn't getting them in the door, but the actual process. So let me say I've watched various like workshops from him, and he would talk about, like I talk about the CAC and the LTV, and trying to optimize these things in the sense of optimizing the leads and getting people in the door and spending, so that it, as opposed to getting more people to see what you're doing. So meaning like this, if you have 100 people viewing your post about your service, but then you only have 10% that actually converting, actually buying what you selling. His focus is, instead of increasing the leads, meaning instead of 100 people watching, you now get 200 people watching. Instead of doing that, you look at, okay, with my 100, how I could increase that 10% to maybe 20%. a 30%. Because now you're figuring out why people not buying. And once you fix that, you fix it up so that now it's more attractive to the people that you actually targeting, that now that rate going to increase, the rate of conversion. So like I say, it'll go from like out of 100 you get 10 to out of 100 you get 30. And then if you keep like adjusting and refining it and making it better, it could keep increasing. Anything will be 100%. Not everybody that pass on your thing going by. We gotta understand and respect that. But once you could increase that conversion, you don't have to increase the throughput. Meaning you don't have to increase the amount of people going through it if you increase the people that actually buy. So he does do that by optimizing sales scripts, objection handling, call structure, or follow-up sequences. So meaning give a script for a sale, so when you're talking to people and you gotta make the sale, you get a script, and maybe if the script ain't working, it would be adjusted until you notice like, okay, this script making people buy. Objection handling, meaning if the customers have an issue and thing, you create an optimized way to handle customer issues, that now all of that would cause them to be a lot more happy with your business. And like I say, call structure, so all that goes with the sales script and so on, and then the follow-up sequence. So that's like when you reach out to somebody or they reach out to you and say they're interested in your service, you follow up with them one time. You don't wait a couple days and then after you finally talk to them, then they don't hear from you after like a week or 2 weeks. No, you have like a structure for following up with them, make sure they're hearing from you and things. And then operational discipline, track numbers obsessively, monitor daily KPIs, like we talk about KPIs, identifying constraints in the system, and then solving bottlenecks before expanding. So like it touches directly with my execute with excellence framework, optimize before you scale. And then constraint-based scaling, meaning he looks for the single biggest bottleneck, fixes that constraint, and then move to the next constraint. So sequential optimization, not chaotic expansion. I like it. So all of that being said, that's all I come to share with you today. Check. And I had some real world examples, but honestly, I gave them to you all in between, so don't really have to go through that again. I break it down for you, clear, simple. Everything. So if I have to tie this back into my framework, this connects deeply with my execute with excellence framework, because if I had to explain briefly, my execute with excellence framework follows a structured methodology or flow, whereas I diagnose, so analyze what the issue is, clarify, so outline clearly what the current status is and what the bottlenecks are, what the issues are. Then once you decide and see what the issue is, you see how you could optimize it. So you make it better, you work on it so it could be a little better. And then systemize. So now that you optimize it, you create systems so that everything will work smoothly. And then once everything is systemized, then you could scale. Or if you're already at scale, then you could stabilize what you're doing. So it all falls hand in hand, ties in like this. Yeah. That being said, I know I gave a lot of information, some good information, powerful information today, really thought provoking. If you have a business, I know for sure the things I say is things that you could start thinking about, seeing how you could make certain adjustments in your business. Especially here locally in St. Martin, a lot of people don't follow these practices, don't keep track of no data. A lot of people, just do things on the fly, haphazard. They don't have no real structure or organized system that they follow. They just wake up and they say, okay, I need to do this, and they do it however they get it done, and then next day the same thing, or next time. So these things are powerful and are necessary. Even big businesses making millions, businesses that have been established long years, they still look to consultants to come in and, let me say, provide a fresh set of eyes, in the sense of analyze how the business operating and see how they could make things better. Even the biggest business, whatever business you're thinking of, they're doing it. Walmart, Amazon, all of them have some entity, whether it's a business or in-house, that check in these different things that I mentioned here today, and making sure they stay within the guidelines that they set out. So don't feel like, yeah, you don't have to do this because you're just a small business, or you're just doing a little side thing and thing. Doing these things is what could get your side thing to a main thing, your side thing to something that's sustaining itself, you know? Same way. Like like I say, big businesses doing it, small businesses doing it, people doing these things and implementing these strategies, and doing this work to make sure the business running how it's supposed to. So in closing, like I say earlier, technology alone doesn't fix businesses. When you approach things with strategy, strategy is what does fix things. Check. So I encourage you to examine your systems, identify inefficiencies, and start improving how things operate today. And keep in mind, like I said, that ain't specific to business, even in your personal life, things that you just do all the time. Examine how you just do things, see how you could do it better, and start improving. you know so bottom line, in a nutshell, optimization is how good businesses become great businesses. Check. So that being said, that's all I have for you here today. I really appreciate you taking the time out. It's love alone. Like I always just say, without you is no all over it podcast. So I appreciate your time. I know I come in with value, but I appreciate you for taking the time and finding some value for yourself. So love alone, pick up yourself, love and blessings. And yeah, like I always just say, tell a friend to tell a friend. If this is something that you like, if this is something that you feel I needed to talk about, something that you feel other people need to hear, like, share, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Do all of that YouTube social media stuff so we could get these podcasts to the world. Check. Increasing the reach, like what we talk about tonight. So that being said, blessings and love, my lovely people. I hope you have a blessed week ahead and it's prosperous and positive, you know, like how they say, we're too blessed to be stressed, you know. God in the midst of all things, and He will never forsake us. So He will see us through all adversity. And for me, like I just say, I laugh in the face of adversity because they cannot conquer me straight. So that being said, love alone, my people. Today was another episode 45. We live. Catch me here next week for another episode of the All Over It podcast, where we uncovering it all. You know, so like I say, tell a friend to tell a friend, tell them we here. We here with it and we doing things. Love alone. Blessed love, my people. Catch you.